Alright everyone, welcome back to the second to last video of how to supercharge 3800 swap your Chevy S10 or any rear-wheel drive car for that matter. Now, as I always say, if you are new here, this is not a Chevy S10. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming back, this is a Chevy S10. This is my 1969 Chevy Corvair on a 1996 Chevy S10 frame and running gear. At one point in time, mechanically speaking, this was a Chevy S10. And now today we are going to do the exhaust. I'm very excited for this one. I had this crazy plan for how I wanted the exhaust to be. I spent probably more money than what I should have on an entire exhaust kit, on exhaust cutouts. Mostly those two, because those two things were the most expensive. And I wanted to build like a true dual exhaust with exhaust cutouts. And some of my friends who are Australian, who deal with these engines on a daily basis, because they actually got these engines in a rear-wheel drive setup in Australia, they said, please, for the love of God, do not do a dual exhaust on this thing. It is not going to sound good. And I was like, I think it will, because I have a philosophy of if you have a car that is supposed to sound cool and you put an engine in it that doesn't sound cool, the look of the car will cancel out the not sounding cool engine, thus making it sound cool. For example, when I had a 4-cylinder engine in here, I had it straight piped, and people all the time would ask me what kind of V8 I had in this thing. I didn't have a V8, I had a 4-cylinder. If I have some footage of that running, I will put it up on the screen now. So, my Australian friend Tim, or Second Stage on all social media, was like, don't do that, this is what you want to do. Equal length headers, equal length exhaust, and put that into one pipe. Like, have it connect into one pipe and just shoot the pipe out the side. One 2.5-inch pipe out the side. And I was like, no, that's not going to sound good. And then he sends me a video of some Australian with a ute, who did that, and it sounds amazing. So, yeah, so there's that. So, I basically spent close to $400 on exhaust stuff, and I'm not going to use even a fraction of it. But that's okay, because I have plenty of projects to use that stuff on. So, in this video, I have already done the headers on this video. I bought a pair of Camaro headers for a 4th gen Camaro or Firebird and installed them on here. However, it wasn't quite a perfect install because it's not a Camaro, it's a Chevy Corvair on an S10 frame. So on the passenger side, I'm using modified Camaro headers, and on the driver's side, I'm using a ZZP exhaust manifold log that I had to cut off the end and rotate it 90 degrees and shoot it straight down. And it works really well. I've actually test driven this car a few times. And then with the kit, the Camaro kit, it came with this piece. So this would be the passenger side and this would be the driver's side. And just for testing and tuning, I used this because it had the bung for the O2 sensor and the bung for my AFR gauge. So it sounded really bad with this quick exhaust here and here. This did not sound good. So, yeah. But I'm still going to have to cut this up because there's some parts on here that I need to use. I'm going to show you the footage of me making the headers and all that work. That footage is from like 2 months ago. And then we're immediately going to cut into the work that we're going to get done today. I would like to have everything loosely mocked up within the next 3.5 hours before I have to leave for work. So, without further ado, here's that footage, and we'll see you guys in a few. I bought these headers here cheap headers. They were like 180 bucks, and they're good quality, you know? They are nice, good quality. The problem is they don't fit. Now, if this was in a F-body Camaro or Firebird, yeah, they would fit no problem. My problem is that, and this is going to be hard to do one-handed, but basically, this whole part here runs into the frame rail down there. The problem with this side is we have less room and a steering shaft in the way. And that's going to be super tight fit with that steering shaft. Not to mention, look at how much farther these runners stick out. See how these don't even stick out? They just immediately curve, where these stick out a good 1.5 to 2 inches. So I'm going to probably cut straight across these and try to tuck those up. And same deal there. So I'm going to do this one last, though, because I'm just not looking forward to it. So, and then this here will also have to be modified, but that's okay. So, yeah, we're definitely going to start with this side because it's easy. So here's what I was talking about. See how it's running in down there on the frame? And we are right there. It's just like, it could be so perfect. As a matter of fact, one thing I'm noticing is it looks like we're also going to be running into the bell housing down there. Maybe my original plan isn't going to work very well. Shoot. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I think it might actually be easier if I cut at the bottom there and then just got a pipe. Because see how the frame, see where my finger is pointing right there? How it like almost like curves over? Like, man, that'd almost be perfect to run a pipe down there. Oh, man, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think we should cut them. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Ready for this? They fit. They fit. That's so cool. As you can see, though, it's just going to melt all the paint off my frame, so I don't think I'm going to V-notch them then. On this side, at least, I don't think I'm going to have to. The other side, I might have to get crazy with the modification. But, yeah, look at that. They fit. Look how not much room at all we have. So, we'll grab a tape measure, and there is an option here. Basically, I can delete this shaft and get a rag joint that clicks it over and then down. People do that when they do LS swaps. Most likely, I'm going to have to do that, okay? So, I already know, but we'll pretend I don't have to for right now. So, we'll just get a tape measure in here, and we'll just quick measure how much room we have. And that is 2.5 inches. And that's pushing it. And we'll go right here, because we measured off there. 2.5 inches is right there. So I'm really thinking just even maybe cutting up into the bend a little bit. Just getting my Sawzall and just, you know? I think that's what I'm going to have to do. And then not only that, the other problem is there's not much room already down there. I'm probably going to have to bend the pipe up to snake it down there because there's no room to get it straight down. I'm going to have to go through there, which I know you can't see very well. I apologize. There we go. So I think the first thing we got to do is we just got to cut it. Okay, great news. I just pulled the steering shaft. It's super easy to do. It's literally a 11mm head bolt right here. And then you just kind of pull on it. You can see it's spring-loaded. You just kind of pull it off. Careful, though, so you don't smack your hand. Anyway, so here's the cut pipe. And remember, I said I think I could cut it another inch. That might change the trajectory on this pipe, but I think I can fix that pretty easily with some scrap that I have laying around. Anyway, this is going to be hard to do one-handed, but if I just kind of snake in here. Okay, so obviously not quite yet. I think I am going to shave another inch. Looking back here, my clearance isn't bad. But I am hitting my brake lines and then also part of the frame or the upper control arm there. Sorry, it's really hard to film. And then you can also see where I will be hitting with the shaft there. So I'm not below bashing these with a hammer. Got to do what you got to do, you know? So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to cut an inch off of these. And again, I know it's going to affect my middle pipe there, but I think I will be okay. Holy crap, I am a genius. So as you can see, this is a heavily cut up header, and I just have that loosely bolted on there. So we'll just snake this guy in here. And look, it doesn't fit at all. And that's for two reasons, but the main reason is I'm hitting the control arm really badly, like to the point that it's not good. You can't really see it. Maybe I can get the camera down in there. Right, it's not going to clear it. So I was like, crap. But then I had an idea. What if the front two here, I slid them back. So now the middle one is the back one and the front one is the middle one. That opens up so much room down here. And then the backmost pipe, I cut him off, turn him 90 degrees and shoot him all the way forward, running him alongside the block here, and then bend him up and do some fabrication for that front one. And then, hold on. And then I have the tape there just loosely holding it into place. I think I'm going to be good. It's going to be like super, super tight, right? And I think it's probably going to melt this, but that's okay because I could A, take that off, B, beat him in a little bit with the hammer, and C, I could wrap that with some exhaust tape. The only other problem is these spark plugs are now hitting the pipes. So that would be the next thing to conquer. Okay guys, so I got some good news and some bad news. As you can see, I've cut this up almost beyond recognition. I heated it up and tried bending it upwards. And then, unfortunately, because I didn't know, I wish I didn't cut that inch off. Because now when I kind of put this in here, it runs into the spark plugs really badly. So the bad news is that I don't think I'm going to be able to make this work right now. I'm going to keep all the parts to this because I'd love to have headers on both sides, but I just don't think that's going to work right now. On the other hand, this is the original exhaust manifold to this engine. And when this was transversely mounted, this one was here, and then it had a flange that went like that and went around the engine. Look at how restrictive this is. Isn't that crazy? There's like barely any flow. So, ZZP makes these headers out of stainless steel. They're log headers is what they're called. They flow a lot better. And what I would do is I'd just cut off the end like I did here and rotate it 90 degrees and shoot it down. I didn't want to do it this way because I really like the look of headers. All right, so this is kind of what I was talking about. And from up here, you know, it does kind of look like headers. Again, I'm not using this manifold. I'll put up a picture on the screen of what ZZP's looks like. And then I'll probably end up ordering one of those. But, I mean, look at this. This is meant for the car. I took the spark plugs out because I did have to. It was a little bit of a struggle to get them on. But then we got clearance for the spark plugs. And it's going to be tight with that steering shaft. But, again, on the ZZP ones, they are a little smaller. So I don't think I'll have any issues with clearance. I really don't. Even though it looks like I will as of right now. But again, the ZZP is smaller. And then come to the back here. All I need to do is have a turn down pipe and go straight down. So Again, this was the idea, my backup plan, because I really wanted the headers to work, but they just won't. And I could make these work. I know I'm capable of making these work. Just not right now, not in the time crunch I'm in. So, I'm going to see if hopefully I can order just the I guess, driver's side ZZP header log. Alrighty, so it's been a few days. We got the used ZZP exhaust manifold log in the mail. I got the end cut off here. I stuck it down in there to measure where it needs to be. So we're going to pull the manifold back out, get a better mark on it, cut that off, and then kind of fit up this where we need it. Alrighty, so because of the way that this is a round pipe and then it bends down, the piece that I cut out, it like changes the shape kind of. So I did my best to line it up, but there's going to be a weird little gap, but I don't really care. And then I just went around with a grinder and tried to clean up a little bit. Looks like I maybe missed some spots there. I'll have to get that with a wire brush. So we'll do that. And then the other thing I'm thinking is, like I said, I need to find a way to attach this. However, this pipe is a bigger diameter, right? It's a bigger diameter than this pipe. However, this fits very snugly right there. So I'm going to cut these wings off, put this installed basically, and then by putting it here, this will give me a little bit of more wiggle room, you could say, on where I want this to actually line up. All right, I never said this would be easy, but this is the passenger side manifold. As you know, we had to cut it off to fit it into place, but that was not a viable solution. So now, as you can see, I cut off the bottom of the collectors there, and we got nothing but room. Literally, like, almost too much room, you know what I'm saying? So, I took the driver's side manifold that I couldn't use and cut it off. And obviously, I need to weld that piece back on. But I was thinking something a little like that. You know what I'm saying? I am an artist. So we got that in there. I just have it taped. But you can see that it bends just so perfectly around the frame. It's hard to see, but I probably have about an inch of clearance or so. Hold on. It's gonna get a little shaky. Bear with me. Yeah, there you go. And then there we go. We got nothing but room. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, okay. So that was the easy part. The hard part is gonna be welding that up. Not looking forward to that. Okay, so this is like literally almost welded up. Keep in mind, I'm not a welder. This welder is 30 years old. It's a MIG welder, and I'm welding stainless steel. You don't need to make me feel bad about my welds. I already feel bad enough, okay? I kept blowing through in some places, so I turned my welder down and then just did like stitch welding. It doesn't look great, okay? I know. You don't need to make me feel bad. Anyway, so next is this piece here, and that's going to be a little tricky. I have this piece that fits just about perfect, but the thing is once it's in, how do I weld the backside where I can't even get a welder in? So here's my idea. I'm going to cut this piece in half, take the back piece, stick it in there, and weld the inside of it in there, because I'll be able to get the tip of the welding gun in there. Then take the other half and put it here, and then weld the outside, and then weld up and weld up. I think that will work. And then what I'll do is I have this plug here for this hole, and then I'll cover this and I'll put water in it to make sure it doesn't leak. And if it doesn't leak water, then it won't leak exhaust fumes. So there's that. And then also, when this is in place, you won't even be able to see the welds. Okay, so we got this all welded up. I haven't done a leak test yet, mainly because it's still hot. But I think I got it. The bottom half of this is the driver's side. I have the driver end that I cut off, so that will line up however. Okay, so just spent the better part of probably 45 minutes with a M8 by 1.25 tap. I'm cleaning out all of the exhaust manifold studs. That sucked, and then blew them out with a air compressor, and those finally thread in nicely. I'm not going with studs. I'm going to go with bolts for now, just because I'm not willing to spend the insane amount of money on studs. However, these are too long. I think these were 35 mil, and these are 30, so good to go there. So we can finally bolt on the exhaust. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that footage. Not sure how it turned out. I haven't edited it yet, but we are back now. This is the exhaust pipe I got, the exhaust pipe kit, and it has a bunch of straights, like 4-foot straights, bends, stuff, just like a bunch of stuff, and there's 2 boxes of that. So there's a lot of exhaust pipe here, and I'm not even going to need, like, an entire box. Then, coming over here is my exhaust cutouts. And so here's the thing. You can see one of them does not appear to be in as good condition. And that's because I bought this one from a friend of mine and installed it on this thing when I had the 4-cylinder in it. And then I ended up just buying another one. Now, ideally, I would have gone with 2.5-inch exhaust cutouts, but the one that I bought from my friend was a 2-inch, so I was like, we'll get another 2-inch. Again, remember, this is when I was still planning on doing my dual exhaust. So now I'm not using these, and so I was thinking, well, I have this really nice pair of dual exhaust cutouts that I'm not using. If only there was another car I had to install these on. Not sure if I've really talked about this one before, but this is my 2014 Dodge Charger retired Interceptor with a 5.7 Hemi all-wheel drive. And it's just a little too quiet for my liking, so this will be an upcoming project with some exhaust cutouts. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you drop a follow. Also, that's happening too. Anyway, this was the original plan. We had the engine, transmission, drive shaft, and differential. And so we had the headers, and we were going to come over here and have an X pipe underneath the transmission, right at the end there, and then have it split off. And these would be the mufflers, and then these would be the exhaust cutouts, and we were going to have them shoot out right along there. Obviously, that didn't happen, so this is the new plan. Is basically equal length, and then shoot out to the side. So what I'm thinking is, I have to be careful. Look at this. The pipes here are coated in oil. Like, they're just soaked in oil, which obviously is to keep them from rusting, but holy crap, is it messy. As you can see, we got 2 straight pipes, 2 90s, 2 45s, and 2 180s, and then the bottom box is the exact same thing. So what I'm thinking is we're going to take 2 of these straight pipes and lay them out, and then 2 45s to bend those in right behind the transmission, and then this 180 will then connect those 2. So it will basically be like a loop. But instead of doing that, we're going to cut off the back of this and weld a pipe onto the end of that. Obviously, I'm going to be running a muffler and everything. This is going to work. All right, we are back underneath the car. So a few things I want to talk about. My cross member here, I took it out because you see this loop here for the actual, where the exhaust pipe comes out. And then you come over here and you see how I notched it here. If it will focus. No, that's focusing behind. There we go. See, it used to come all the way down here. However, you can see my exhaust pipe there. Now, ideally, it would have been nice to have an actual loop there, but I didn't have enough metal, and I didn't want to mess with the trajectory or anything. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to do that, and that will give me enough room just to kind of snake it underneath. So there's that. So the idea is to basically have the pipe come here, and the pipe come here, and then like 45 over, and then like meet right here-ish for the U-pipe. All of the exhaust will be wrapped in a exhaust wrap, and then basically the pipe will then shoot over here. Please ignore the frame rust. That is a project for not today. We'll come over here and then shoot out right over here. It's very cramped under here. So that was another kind of reason why I ended up not going with my original plan, because there's like not a lot of room under here. So yeah, so there's that. Anyway, yeah, ignore this, okay? I promise you, I will fix this. At least it's not like the thick stuff, it's just the box portion. This stuff is already pretty thin as is, so I had to cut in here to clean it out. Again, other than that, everything, the actual frame is pretty solid, so I think we'll be okay. Okay, so the first thing that I did is this is the, I don't know if it's technically not a downpipe, but basically what connects the header to the actual exhaust. This is the driver's side, and this one here is technically the passenger. And as you can see, I did have to heavily modify it in order to get it to fit properly. And so what I would like to do first is basically duplicate this. So this becomes almost the same as this. And how I think I'm going to do that is I'm just going to cut it right here and then get another piece of pipe, probably from right here, and just weld that on. So these are almost symmetrical. And then from there, I will then be able to start building the actual exhaust there. So I think that's what we're going to do first. We'll just get that cut, and then probably cut this apart as well, because we can't really use any of this stuff going on here. Alrighty, look at that. Bold of you guys to assume that I was ever going to show you my welds. Unfortunately, I ran out of wrap. That's all I have, and that's not enough to do the other one. So I'm only going to show you this one, but I think that looks really good. And then, ready? Wait for it. Bam! Look at that. That looks great. Okay, so I am going to have to order more wrap, and unfortunately, O'Reilly's doesn't sell enough of it to justify purchasing it. So I'm going to see if I could buy like 100 feet of it off like Amazon or something, because I think that'd be enough. Because I do want to wrap the entire everything. So yeah, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to install these and maybe start kind of laying out the tubes or something, so we can kind of get a general idea of how we want these to look. But yeah, I think the wrap turned out really nice. And then I also plugged this end with tape and filled it up with water, and no water leaked out. So I think we are good to go. So yeah, man, that looks really good. I love when you wrap something like that and it looks that good, but then it's unfortunate that no one will ever get to see it. Okay, so we moved my dad's car out. We got this big sheet of cardboard because I'm going to basically get a bunch of measurements, transfer them to the cardboard, and that way I can lay out exactly how I want it to look and then tack weld it on the template, if that makes any sense. Alrighty, so we are done tracing it out. From center line there to center line there is 3 feet. These are the leaf spring mounts right there. Up in that corner is body mounts. This, I don't remember what that was supposed to be. But as you can see, it is slightly over that way. I just measured it again, and that I'm pretty sure it's because S10 frames aren't symmetrical. But this is how it is. I'm just saying, I just measured everything again. And it's not that I put this in wrong, because I went off the measurements. You see this mark there, and that mark, and this mark, and that mark. That is my transmission cross member. So that is all factory. I know the transmission, I put that in, so it gives the effect that it is not factory. But no, this is all factory, so they're just not symmetrical. Anyway, but now with this, oh, I remember what this line was. This is where the back of the transmission is, and this long pipe here is the drive shaft. So we're going to get a few more measurements underneath the car, because I don't exactly know where the pipes come out for the headers, because the one is a header and the other one is a exhaust manifold log. So those aren't even as is. So I'm going to try to get some measurements there, and then we can start kind of putting stuff together. Okay, so we got the one pipe on there, and this one here, kind of not going on there very well, but I have it marked on the top there. You can see my Sharpie marker, which indicates where the 45 needs to start coming in. But I was just thinking I should get this basically where I want it, hold it up with a jack, get a scrap piece of metal and tack these two together so they're perfectly square. And then I can take them off and we'll be good. Okay, well, they're not exactly going to be parallel per se. This one I bent over because it was not quite in the loop where I needed it to be. So that one's going to be pretty far over. So you can see my black line here and black line there, and that's basically where the cross member is. And this is actually kind of where it is going to be underneath. It needs to go over that way a little. And then I was going to take a U-pipe and make that work there, but then I was like, wait a second. 90 degrees already good to go. Actually, now that I even think about that, maybe I could, yeah, wait, nope, never mind. Yeah, so just like that, that will be done. Obviously, the pipe is coming off of there. I'm not keeping it a closed system. And then for this, I was just thinking, like, what's the best way to go about this? I have this leftover piece of scrap from the Camaro stuff. I could cut off those two loops there and maybe do something like that or something. Oh, maybe I should, because then look at that. I got the bungs already made. Oh, that's so smart. Yes, I think that's what we might end up doing. Except this is stainless steel, and that sucks to weld. Okay, so somehow I managed to screw up the cut. I don't know how I did that, but somehow I managed to screw that up. So this was like way off, and I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to grab another nice piece of exhaust and cut it and be left with this scrap. So I'm going to reuse what I already have, which ended up working out really well. Now you see this gap here, which I could fill. However, I got this piece, cut off the little double barrel shotgun looking thing, and beat it out with a hammer. And then that, let's just say hypothetically, will go right there. And then I already have the bungs here for my AFR and my O2. And then here, we'll just weld him on like that. Bam! The most loudest, obnoxious exhaust of them all, if that didn't make any sense. And then I have a muffler there that came off of, it's like a universal muffler. It came off of a Toyota Hilux that I had for a short while. And so I'm thinking just running that, because that is obviously just meant for like a 4-cylinder. So I'm thinking the amount of flow will still make it sound cool. All right, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. Nice clearance. Again, you guys gotta bear with me. It's not done. So that, we'll just grab this fella. And then I'm thinking something like that. Alrighty, we are back. It's been a few days. We got everything welded up. We have everything exhaust wrapped. And then this was like, oh, hey, you're supposed to like paint this with like a high temp silicone coating. And I was like, what if I just painted it with this stuff? So that's what I did. So we're just waiting for that to dry. I still have some left over. So I was thinking, but it's just going to be a lot of work, if I took off this manifold on this side and wrapped this, or at least wrapped this portion because of how close that is to my steering shaft there. See that? So I feel like I should, because if I don't, I might regret it. It's just so much work to get that out. I have to remove the steering shaft. Okay, good news. As you can see, got everything out. I wrapped this. It's not the greatest wrap job, I'll be honest, but it doesn't touch. And I got it pretty thick over here. I was just going to wrap that bottom tube, but I ended up wrapping the runners as well. There's a spot here where it didn't really do a good job, so I honestly might rewrap this. But yeah, I wrapped it all the way down to there, so that's going to work. I think we're going to do that then, just because, you know, we got the steering shaft there, we have the coolant here, we have brake lines, we have the clutch line. There is going to be a lot of heat down here, so anything we can do to kind of dissipate that heat. Alrighty, the exhaust is officially put on. Like I said, we just had to pie cut that hanger there. I just remembered I did not tighten those up, and I'm missing a bolt. Whoops. It does hang a little low, but keep in mind, I got a pretty nasty rake going on, so I'm not too scared about anything dragging back here. So, tomorrow, hopefully we can get this all buttoned up. We got to put it on my AFR gauge, and my, right there is my emission O2 sensor. So we still got a little bit of work to do, but hopefully tomorrow we will be able to hear it fire up. So anyway, yeah, tomorrow is another day. But it doesn't sound bad. Yo! That sounds crazy! Moment of truth. Hit the open button. And what's this? Ta-da! Now, this is on a button, but I have a switch there that is going to go there to match the rest of the switch panel, but it's just temporarily wired up to this button. So I think we are good there. Alrighty, I think we fire this up. I've actually heard this already fired up before I had the muffler, before I had anything on, and it sounds crazy, insanely awesome. I love the way this sounds, and even with a muffler, it sounds pretty good. But I have not heard it as we see it right now with the muffler, with the cutout, any of that. I've not seen any of that, so we are about to see how that sounds. Let that warm up, and we'll start her up. All right, I think I do have a slight exhaust leak somewhere, but we will we'll find out. That exhaust, that little belt squeak is annoying. I also have like a vacuum leak or something, so it likes to rev hang a little bit, and I don't know why. Holy crap. I don't think it can get the exhaust out fast enough. Also, it's cold outside, so, you know, there's that. All right, ready? Moment of truth. Before? After. Holy crap. Alrighty, so today is actually Sunday, December 29th. About a month over that last clip that you just saw of me. What was I even doing in that clip? I think I was just firing it up in my garage, letting you guys kind of hear it, because I just got done installing the exhaust cutout. And I forgot that I actually had quite a bit of footage recorded of the exhaust being done, but I never finished filming the outro. So I went over to my parents' house yesterday where I have the car, and I was going to film the outro. And that outro ended up being, right about, oh my gosh, 25 minutes long. 25-minute long outro. And I'm reviewing this footage, and I just don't like any of it. A lot of stuff actually ended up going wrong in the outro, and part of the reason is because it had been downpouring for the past 2 days, just nonstop rain, and everything was soaked inside and outside the car. The exhaust underneath the car was like dripping wet. Like it was still kind of misting. And in some of the clips that I'll put up, you can still see some rain falling off the car. So the exhaust wrap, the muffler, the pipes, even the exhaust log on the driver's side where I had wrapped that in exhaust wrap was soaking wet. So everything was wet. To make things worse, the switch for the exhaust cutout also was not working properly, even though that was stored inside my garage. So that never got wet. So it was just, I don't know. So I'm going to show you guys the footage that I'd filmed yesterday of it running, because I think it was running pretty nice yesterday. And then I'm going to just wrap up the video right here. There it goes. That was weird. I had to double click it. So this video was a lot of work. It all started with buying the headers, which I ended up only using really one side, but I guess I used both headers. If you are to watch this, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, what should I do? See if you can find exhaust logs for like a Camaro, like the V6 Camaro. Don't use headers, okay? You're not going to get a better sound. You're not going to get better performance. I mean, you might, but it's also like, it's not worth the amount of time it took me to modify these. Find exhaust logs, or go with just OEM cast iron Camaro exhaust manifolds. The reason I didn't use mine, you could see I test fit the one I had, is because I've never welded cast iron, and everyone says that it's super hard to weld cast iron. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. I'm just going to go with a ZZP log. And I'm glad I did, because the flow on that is much better, and I think it just looks better in the engine. But I would not personally go with the headers. And then Anything after that is up to you guys. It's your choice, and that's what's so cool about doing exhaust is you can do whatever you want. And I'm really glad that my friend Tim told me to go with this because I think this sounds really good. It, especially under load when I'm accelerating, it sounds gnarly. So I'm really glad I went with that. That's basically the exhaust video for you guys. I'm very sorry about how long this took to come out. The next video will be out very shortly. Trust me, it will. The last video will be out shortly. Oh, one more thing. The exhaust isn't actually done yet. I'm not just going to have it dumping underneath the car like that. The muffler is going to have like a 90-degree bend coming out the side, and then the exhaust cutout portion is also going to have a pipe coming off that and coming out the side parallel with the muffler one. So I will be shooting that exhaust out the side. It is not going to be dumping right underneath the back seat area because that's how you get carbon monoxide poisoning. So not doing that. I just have not gotten time to actually finish up the exhaust. Yeah, so we're going to wrap up this video just because this video has really taken it out of me. I am like just so done with this video. So thank you for watching. I'm sure a lot of people are going to have a lot to say about how I did this. But again, guys, this isn't a race car. This isn't anything performance-based. I mean, it kind of is, but I'm like, this is like my fun daily driver that I drive in the summertime. So it sounds cool, and that's really what's important to me. I don't really care that it may not be the best for performance or fuel efficiency. Like, it's just me having fun, you know? So anyway, exciting news. We are officially past 25,000 subscribers. It happened so fast, I didn't even have time to react. Subscribe if you're new. Like the video and comment. If you guys have any questions, I'm more than willing to help answer those. And I just love reading the comment. Thanks for watching, guys. And we will see you in the next one, which will be coming very soon. The last video of how to swap in a supercharged 3800 into your Chevy S10 or any rear-wheel drive car for that matter.